Alright, welcome back everyone to this video where I'm going to talk about the mental benefits of Nofap. So I've previously done a couple of videos on benefits. I've done a video about some of the main benefits of Nofap. I've done a video dedicated to the physical benefits of Nofap, but I have not really talked about the mental benefits yet. And I do think this is very interesting because this is the part where we actually start talking about how Nofap can make you feel, how it can make you more motivated, more confident, and just happier in life in general. So that's very relevant as well if you're interested in what Nofap can do to improve you. So I'm going to dedicate this video to talking about the mental benefits. Now, before I get into the actual benefits, I do have to say that when it comes to the mental benefits of Nofap, this is a little bit more anecdotal and subjective than the physical benefits. Because the physical benefits, for example, testosterone, you can make an actual scientific study and measure people's testosterone levels, right? And then say if their testosterone was raised or not. You can actually do that. You can't do that with mental benefits. You can't scientifically prove that you get more motivation or anything, or at least that's very hard. This is something that you really have to experience for yourself, right? That's the only way to find out. But most people who do Nofap do seem to say that these benefits, the benefits that I'm going to talk about in this video, are benefits that practically everyone on Nofap seems to experience. So I really hope that if you are going to do Nofap yourself, that you might experience these benefits as well. So let's just get into it. The first one is that it increases your willpower and your motivation, or even just ambition. Now you guys probably recognize these situations where you feel like you never have enough motivation, right? I've certainly had this myself, large periods of my life. You want to start your own business, right? You have some plans, but you never really get the motivation to finally start, or write your own book, start a YouTube channel, whatever it is, or maybe even to just consistently stick to your goals like going to the gym or eating a healthy diet. It just seems as if you never get enough motivation to really become the person you know deep down inside that you want to be. And this is the thing that Nofap really does. It really tends to increase your willpower and your passion to be that person you want to be. It really makes you jump out of bed in the morning and then think, wow, I'm hyped on actually working towards my goals. To some people this might sound like an exaggeration, but so many people who try Nofap really experience it that way. And I think it makes sense because what a lot of people don't realize is that motivation is largely dependent on dopamine, right? Dopamine is this neurochemical that isn't just responsible for pleasure, but it is also responsible for making you want things, right? It is also responsible for anticipation. And so that also translates to motivation. Even motivation when it comes to doing things like business or going to the gym. And watching the dirty videos, fapping to them all the time, is one of the greatest ways to numb your dopamine system. And so it makes a lot of sense to me that if you numb your dopamine system, completely numb your dopamine system, because that's really what fapping does. It destroys your dopamine system. That when you have a destroyed dopamine system, that takes its toll on your motivation as well, right? It starts to make sense that most of us keep wondering when we will ever get enough motivation if we keep numbing our brain with all these dirty websites, right? Motivation is dependent on dopamine. And so by going on Nofap, you reset your dopamine system. And you give your brain a chance to actually spark that motivation, spark that ambition again. And that motivation, that ambition will translate itself to your goals. It will make it so much easier to know what you want out of life and to actually start working towards it. And it will feel much more rewarding. So the next one is that it tends to make you a lot more confident. And I think this one largely has to do with the fact that you start to develop this incredible sense of belief in yourself. Because when you do Nofap, you start to see that you are no longer a useless person, right? If you are a fapper, you constantly see that you cannot remain true to your goals. You do not work towards your goals. You do not take care of yourself, and you keep succumbing to your urges. But when you do Nofap, you start to see that you are working towards your goals. And even just the Nofap itself, controlling your sexual urges, this thing is huge, right? Because sexual urges are some of the strongest, deepest rooted biological urges that we have. And so when we can control these instincts, other things start to become easier, right? It starts to become so much easier to approach a girl and have a conversation with her, ask her out, make an uncomfortable sales call, or do whatever it takes to work towards your goals. Step in that cold shower, go to the gym, etc. Because you start to believe in yourself so much more, because you start to develop so much more confidence, all of these things start to become a lot easier as well. Now, another thing that people seem to notice a lot is that it makes you wittier or sharper and eliminates this brain fog. Now, people usually talk about this in the context of social situations, having a conversation, knowing what to say. But I notice that it really works to other aspects of life as well, like work. But I definitely also notice this in social conversations. When I'm on Nofap, ever since I started to do Nofap, it's as if words come more natural to you, right? Someone says something and you just instantly respond with the right thing to say. And sometimes it can actually surprise yourself. You're like, wow, how was I so clever? How did I come up with that joke so fast? To some extent, it's almost as if the words come from above, right? I can even understand why some people would think that it's like words being gifted to you from God. There's something that makes these words flow more natural. And I also noticed this when it comes to work as well. It just gives me a clearer sense of what I want out of life. And it makes it easier for me to figure out how I have to work towards these things. There's something about Nofap that just makes your brain run smoother. It might also have something to do with dopamine, the fact that your brain is more focused, that it doesn't really jump around as much. Not sure exactly how it works, but so many people say when you do Nofap, it makes you just sharper, more on point, wittier. Someone says something and you just, bam, you know what to say. The words flow more natural. You become like a better, more socially skilled version of yourself. Another thing it tends to do is that it makes you more present. It makes you more present in the current moment. This is a little bit of a spiritual concept to some people, maybe, but this is incredibly important. One of the biggest mental issues that we have, I'm not sure if you should call it an issue, but one of the things that most people do is that we keep obsessing about things that don't really matter. We keep thinking about things that are in the past. We keep thinking about things that have yet to happen. There's a thing like preparing for a situation, but usually we prepare way too much, right? We keep obsessing about something. We keep going over the same situation again and again and again, and we are not focused on the current moment. When we are holding a conversation with someone, we are not thinking about that conversation. We are talking about other things. We are not present. And Nofap makes you more present. It definitely does. If you hold a conversation with someone, you actually focus on that conversation. I used to be someone, I don't think I was completely socially awkward, but I used to be someone that was always stuck in my head. When I would talk to someone, I would think about other things in my life, things that happened, things that are about to happen. And even if I would think that I was focusing on the conversation, I would, for example, think about what I was going to say next, instead of actually listening to that other person. Do you guys recognize that? Sometimes someone says something and then you think, ooh, now I want to say this thing. And then you can't wait until that person finishes speaking till you can say your thing. And because of that, you stop listening to that person, right? This is something that so many of us do. When you do Nofap, you actually become more present in that conversation, which allows you to have a much better conversation, to actually have more fun in the conversation, and to actually form a deeper bond with that person. Now, with this thing as well, it also tends to apply to work. You tend to be more present in the work that you are doing. You tend to be less distracted. And I think it goes without saying that when it comes to work, this is incredibly useful because, well, simply put, you are more productive. You are less distracted. You are more focused on what you do in the work itself. But also when you are more present, when you think about your purpose, you tend to get a clearer sense of what you want out of life. So being present just increases your life quality as a whole. I think this one also probably has a lot to do with dopamine, because to me it makes a lot of sense that when you have a numbed dopamine system, your mind probably keeps jumping around all the time, right? Because it's used to being stimulated, and it probably gets bored really quickly. So when you're just doing one work task or having a conversation with someone else, your mind thinks, "Ooh, I need more stimuli, and so it keeps jumping around from thought to thought. And when you do Nofap, you reset your dopamine system. This probably explains why it becomes so much easier to actually focus on one thing and be present. And being present, if you've never heard about this concept before, this is something that has been talked about a lot in ancient philosophies. In this book, The Power of Now, which is a great book, and it's huge. Being present will improve your life by an incredible amount on so many different aspects. Now this leads us to the last benefit, the last mental benefit, and I would say that it just makes you happier and it increases your life's satisfaction. And this one is like a summary of all the previous benefits that I've just mentioned. Because to me, personally, it makes a lot of sense that if you become more confident, you get more motivation to work towards your goals. You actually start working more towards your goals. You see yourself improving. You become better at social situations. You become more present. You become more capable of enjoying the current moment. All these things together, to me, it makes a lot of sense that this is just drastically going to increase your life satisfaction and just make you a better, happier person overall. And I'd like to close this video with that statement. I know it sounds like a big statement, but so many people who do Nofap all experience these benefits. I've experienced these benefits myself as well. I do think there is a very high chance that if you are going to do Nofap and actually stick to it for a decent period of time, that you might just experience these benefits as well. I really hope so for you. Now, if you guys like this video, click the like button, leave a comment below, because the algorithm really seems to like that, and so that way you are supporting my channel in its growth. If you want to help yourself out, then click the subscribe button, because if you liked this video, then you are probably going to like all of my upcoming videos as well. So click the subscribe button, the notification bell. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.